Hey everybody, and welcome to the Katie Weaver Show. This is Katie. I'm your host. I am so happy to be here. I hope that you guys are having a lovely day. If you are with us live, it is the 24th of September at 11 a.m. Pacific time. If you're listening to an archive or a replay, I also want to welcome you to the show. So lots of fun stuff going on around here, and I'm just thrilled to be here. Yesterday was the autumnal equinox, and seriously, could we be in better energy right now? Probably not. I want to let you know that we're over in the chat room. You can find us by heading over to 12radio.com. That's number 2 radio.com. Click on the chat button and you'll be redirected into the Facebook chat. That's the way to find us. So easy enough, right? And of course, you will want to ask for entry if you've not been here before. But Scott is standing by. He'll gladly allow you into the room. And you will see my banner at the top of the page. That's where we'll be chatting. But if you want a reading or want to make a comment, make it there. But if you want to watch the live stream, scroll down a little bit into the group and you'll see the live stream, and you can watch this edition rather than listen to it if you'd rather. So totally up to you. I'm drinking tea. Gotta be drinking tea. Constant comment today, in case you're wondering. What are you guys drinking? For me, it's turned into coffee in the morning, hot lemon water in the mid-morning, and then hot tea in the afternoon. So, you know, it's all hot these days. We've actually cooled down a lot, and it's nice. Like, I'm loving it. There's no complaints here. But wow, what's that? We have really cooled down. Anyway, I want to tell you about a reading that I have for the for the autumn equinox. And I'm actually going to do a collective reading in the same style today for all of us for the autumnal equinox, but I want to share this with you as well. So this is a video reading. It is I'm going to get to it. It's hidden somewhere in my emails. Oh, here we go. It's a video reading. When you purchase it, you can tell me if you have any concerns or anything you want me to work on, or you can just, let spirit have at it. I don't care. Either way is fine with me. And I'm going to pull cards from you from the Raven Oracle, because of course I am, right? And of course also I'm going to give you some candle magic suggestions and some crystal suggestions to connect to the autumnal equinox. So I put a link in the chat room, but you can find that also in my profile over at 12listen.com under me, Katie Weaver, in my email readings. So I will, of course, make a video of me doing that reading for you and then send it over to you. And then you will have the video. You'll have the link to watch however many times you want. So I thought that was a great way to... I've been doing these actually at the turn of the wheel for a while now, and I really love it. It turns out really good. So anyhow, if that's something that you want, just let me know. I would be happy to do that reading for you. But I am going to do that as a collective reading for the group today as well, just for fun. So as promised, today is a show all about the fall equinox. We're going to talk about how to connect to it, and I'm going to give you some ideas and hopefully get your wheels turning a little bit. Terry says it's a great day to have a great day. Amen, Terry. I'm with you. So I made a wreath. I'm sharing it in the chat room, but you can find it on my Facebook page too at Katie Brower Weaver. But I just thought this was fun and I wanted to share it. I saw it in the store, something like this black feathery kind of raveny looking wreath, and it was cool. It was $50 and I'm cheap. I'm a Cancer. Don't forget that. And I was like, I'm not paying $50 for that. Well, it was also then 40% off, so it was more like $30, and I still didn't want to buy it. I still wanted to make it myself. So we wandered the store. We found a wreath blank that was black feathers, and we picked up some black greenery, and I had roses at home actually from a different project, and I had these cool jewel lights, and we got this neat board, looks like a chalkboard thing to put with it. Anyway, so we picked everything up. They didn't have a Raven. I had to go to 2 other stores to find one. So, you know, as you can imagine, I've spent way more than I would have if I would have just bought the damn wreath. But now I have something I made, and I actually really love it. So I shared it in the chat. But it's a big lacy or feathery affair, and it has black greenery and, of course, the teal roses. And then the board, we cut this out of vinyl. It says spells and potions for all afflictions, crystals, hexes, and charms. Isn't that perfect? Anyway, I hung it on the door yesterday, and I couldn't be more in love with it. So I will be honest, practically no one comes to my house. My kids, their friends. That's it. The UPS guy, way more often than he should. But so not a lot of people will enjoy this besides me, but I don't care. It's for me, right? That's right. Okay. All righty. Well, at any rate, that's what's up with me. Well, kind of. There's a lot of change happening in my world right now. And you guys, you know, I'm a Cancer. I don't change anything. I didn't rearrange my living room for 14 years. I'm not kidding. This is who I am, right? So some change has been thrust upon me, and it's good. I think it's good, but it's definitely kicked my butt a little bit. And that is change at the... because Christy, as you probably know, is leaving 1-2 Land. This is her last week with 1-2 Radio, and then she's done. She got a fabulous new job, a dream job, working as an audiobook editor for a metaphysical publisher. So she's still going to be in the game, but just not here anymore. Due to that, 1-2 News is changing, which is fine. I have a brand new co-anchor over at 1-2 News, and it is Scott Weaver, our producer. So I have drug him from behind the desk to co-anchor with me on Monday mornings. Very excited about that. We're going to have a lot of fun doing that show together. A lot of fun and probably an occasional fight, but that's what it's all about. I'm kidding, but only kind of. Anyway, so here's where it's at, right? But due to all of the change, Psychic Sisters is coming to a close. Psychic Sisters has been on the radio in some capacity for the past 9 years. We've had a very long run, a wonderful run, but we're done. So we actually pre-recorded the final episode last night so that we could have Rhonda and Kara with us. It seemed to be fitting for us all to be together. I'm not going to lie, I'm very sad about Psychic Sisters coming to an end. All good things do, I guess, at some point. It kind of sucks. It's okay. I will tell you that there is a brand new Friday show that is still a sparkle in my eye and C.A. Brooks's eye, but we're talking about it, that we're going to bring something to Fridays that is that's different and new and maybe feels a little Psychic Sisters-ish. I will tell you that I am certain that occasionally I will have my sisters as guests on my show here on the Katie Weaver Show. You're nowhere near done with the Psychic Sisters, but our show is. Yeah, I know. That's how I feel about it too, but it is what it is. So, do join us though on Thursday for the last show. We'll be in the chat room. We just had to pre-record so that we could get Kara and Rhonda with their work schedules, and we really wanted you guys to be there with us. So, that's what's happening. Lots of things changing. But with all of that being said, I just want to be very, very clear. I'm not going anywhere. You guys are stuck with me. I'm here to stay. So you will find me still every day over at 1-2 Listen. You'll find me at 1-2 News on Mondays and here on the Katie Weaver Show on Tuesdays and various other radio arrangements and guest spots. And of course, a plan for Friday that I'm not completely ready to announce yet, but something coming. So all of that, right? All of that. I just want you guys to hear it from me. I want you to know what's happening, and I want you to know what I'm doing. So there you go. Enough about all of that. Least favorite topics. Okay. Alrighty. I want to get into luminous with you guys because for lots of reasons, right? But something really fun this week. So I'm going to put a link in the chat room. You can also find Luminous over at katie-weaver.com. You could just click on the Katie's Magazine button. You may have also just had it sent to you because I actually just emailed it out a few minutes ago. It's been one of those mornings, I have to say. It's okay. We're all fine here. But anyway, I did put a link here in the chat room for you so that you can pick that up and take a peek. But I want to go through a few things with you. So I called this magazine, or this edition, the Magic in the Air edition, because we've hit it. The most magical time of the year. We're here. We have arrived, right? I'm so happy. I really am. I love it. So, of course, it's the Magic in the Air edition. But the most exciting thing this week is that we have launched a brand new column at Luminous. It's called Reader's Corner. It's on page 24. It is an opportunity for you, dear readers, to submit. I would love to hear from you guys. I would love to read your work or view your art. If you want to put something in Luminous, all you have to do is get it to me. You can send it to me on Facebook for all I care. You can email it to me. In the column is my email address so that you can email it over if you would like to. But as long as people keep submitting, we will keep that column going. So I'm super excited about it. I would really love it if you guys submitted. Please, please, please don't be perfectionists about it. Please, please, please don't get any kind of worthiness or weirdness in your heads. It's not about that, right? It's about sharing from your heart. It's about sharing what spirit prompts you to share. That's how everyone at Luminous writes. They write from their spirit. They write about what their spirit asks them to share. It comes together beautifully. That's what I want for you guys too. So submit, please. We're going to get to it. I want to share with you our very first submission was from our dear Robin from here in the chat room. She's a reader as well, and she sent us a beautiful poem. So I'm going to get there. I'm going to share it with you. Let's look at a couple of things. From now until probably Halloween, I want to, in my musings, I'll probably be sharing more stories with you, experiences, ghost stories, hauntings. You know, 'tis the season, right? I don't know. Maybe that's a little cliche. I don't care. It's whatever. But I had an experience this week I wanted to share with you guys. And that made me think, yeah, I really should. This week or this month, let's, through October, I will dedicate my columns to sharing various experiences with, things that might go bump in the night on purpose, on accident, whatever. So last week, my son texted me and he wanted to know if I could get on Facebook or on Xbox Live and talk to his friends. So this has happened lots of times. His friends have something going on. It could be paranormal. That's happened several times. Or it could be a struggle. Somebody's going through a breakup. Somebody's depressed. Somebody's really homesick. Whatever. But every once in a while, they ask me to get on Facebook Live and talk to them. Xbox Live and talk to them. Well, we were in the middle of watching a movie, and I thought it would be a little unfair to Scott and Mars to jerk them away from their movie. So I told him I couldn't, but what's up? So he tells me about his friends, one of his best friends from high school, and his roommate who live north of us, way north of us, now going to college. They're roommates, and they're renting an old house. And since they moved into this house, there has been some activity. Both of them report being home alone and hearing footsteps coming down the hallway on their old hardwood floors. They have both reported times when kitchen cupboards opened unexpectedly. They both reported times when they are certain that they closed the garage door and woke up the next morning and it was open, or heard it open out of the blue. You know, maybe they're studying or making dinner and suddenly they're hearing that door open up and it shouldn't be. So at the time that this happened, one of the friends had gone home for the weekend. And so the one roommate was there alone. He was playing Xbox Live with Micah and he heard the footsteps in the hall. And he said, oh my God, he's like, this house is haunted. There is someone here. This just keeps happening. I'm so freaked out about it and I don't know what to do about it. So of course my son says, well, you probably don't know what my mom does for a living, but this is one of her gifts. She works with people who have died. She clears houses. She could probably get rid of it for you. And he was like, oh, please tell her, get rid of it, make it leave. I don't want this here. It's freaking me out. I hate it. Make it go. Okay, fine. I get it, right? So I told Micah, sure, let me take a look. Let me see what I can find out. So I tune into this house through the friend. And what I discover in the house is actually this really lovely girl, maybe mid-20s-ish, maybe early 20s-ish. Sweetheart, long blonde hair, nice girl. Well, she spills out her story to me. So she has died. It's one of those cases where people don't want to die. They don't want to admit it. They don't want to accept it. And she really hadn't crossed over. She was kind of hanging out in this house. So she died of an OD. But well, anytime someone dies of an OD, it's terribly sad. In her case, she wasn't an addict. She was a college student that partied a little too hard, did something stupid, didn't know what she was doing, and took a combination of things, and she died. And I don't know how long ago it was. Sometimes they're really clear on that, but a lot of times they aren't. With her, she hasn't crossed over. I don't think she has a clue how long it's been. I would imagine it's probably been excess of 5 years, maybe more, maybe 10 years. Maybe it's been a minute. I don't know. I wasn't sure, so I shouldn't conjecture too much on that. I don't know. She didn't know. Anyway, her name is Sarah. And Sarah died of an OD, didn't want to die, has been kind of wandering, not sure what to do, trying to not, well, be dead. It's rare. Most spirits cross over. Most spirits, they get it, they accept it, they go. But occasionally we have a rebel who doesn't want to, and she hadn't. So why was she in this house? I wasn't clear that she died in this house or maybe near this house. I wasn't clear on that. She wasn't clear on that. And that's okay. That's one thing about mediumship I've had to get very comfortable with. You don't have all the answers. They don't have all the answers. And sometimes you just don't know. So I'm like the journalist, right? I like the what, when, where, when, and how. I want to be able to check all my boxes and know all of the answers. But it's not the way mediumship really is. Sometimes it is. Sometimes lightning strikes and it really is, and we get to know everything. But so frequently it's not. There's holes in the stories because they don't know. And they can't tell me what they don't know, right? Anyway, she didn't know. She wasn't sure. But what she did know was she likes these boys. She likes their energy. She said they feel safe and they feel like brothers. So she has hung around their house because she feels safe there. And I thought that was the absolute sweetest thing in the world. She just felt safe with them. So she had discovered that she could move some energy. She could make a little noise and was getting their attention. She was loving every second of it. Why wouldn't she, right? She loved it. They were reacting. Consider being completely invisible to the world, but something you do actually makes a mark, actually gets a reaction. Oh my God, right? So she was having a little fun with them. It was great for her. Anyway, I did help her cross over. I helped her find, she had grandparents that had crossed that were waiting with open arms for her. She was just kind of being a little stubborn, refusing to go, and scared. So she crossed. I promised her she could come back. She can come back to the house. She can come back and visit the boys, right? That's okay. She kind of has an affinity for them. That's all right. So I spilled this whole story out to my son. And he says, oh no, they're going to feel really bad. I said, why? He said, well, after I talked to you, after I told you that I would help, that you would help get rid of the spirit, then they started feeling guilty and feeling like maybe it was supposed to be here and maybe they had no right to kick it out. Well, yeah, they did. And it was okay, right? So I explained it to them and I think everybody's good now, but they felt bad. They felt bad because she was seeking refuge with them and they felt bad that they told her she had to go. It's okay. She wasn't in the right place. Besides this being not quite right for them, it wasn't right for her. And that really was the biggest point. And had they not said something and reached out, she'd still be there, stuck, right? So it was the right thing. It was a good thing. But I thought it was very sweet of them that they felt kind of bad. But I promised them, she's going to come back. She'll come back and visit you. She's not going to live there anymore, but she's going to come back and check in. The next day I got a text. Sarah's back. She opened the cupboard door right in front of their eyes. And I said, good. All you have to say is, hi, Sarah. And they did, and they were at peace, and everything's okay. And I think occasionally they're going to still have a visitation from Sarah. Though I did ask her to stop opening the garage door, considering, safety. But anyway, there's just been such a sweet, fun little story play out here over the last week, and I just wanted to share it with you guys. Anna says that's like the movie Beetlejuice, where the couple doesn't leave the house not knowing they are dead. I've actually seen that a couple of times. Yeah, an old man one time. This house that there was an old man that would, he was just there. Like the kids would be watching TV and turn and see him standing in the doorway, just watching them. He wasn't scary. Nobody in the house was afraid of him. They were really comfortable with him. He was just a grandpa, that was hanging out at the house. But at one point, the mom finally asked me to take a look because she was like, I don't mind that he's here. I just wonder why he's here or if he's supposed to be here. So he fell asleep on the couch. He was so sweet. So sweet. So I tuned into him, and what he told me was that he was waiting for his wife to come home from buying groceries. Elderly couple. He fell asleep on the couch, and she went to the store, and he slipped out. He died in his sleep. And somehow was confused and hadn't quite put the two and two together that she was long gone. She had been gone for many years, and he was still just chilling in that house waiting for her to come back. How did he not know that she'd come back, that she had already died? I don't know, guys. I don't know all the answers. I don't think anybody does. Somehow, though, he had slipped into maybe a part of some dimension or the veil or whatever you want to call it that he didn't know. So he was just waiting. He loved these kids. They were like grandkids to him. He loved this family. He was just hanging out. When I helped him understand, I wondered if he had Alzheimer's, or some kind of confusion in life, that when he crossed, because he hadn't crossed over, that he still had that confusion. I don't know, food for thought. But anyhow, long story short, I did help him to cross over, and his wife came and got him, and it was very sweet. And they said that they've never seen him in the house again. So I wondered if he'd come back and peek in and say hi and check on them. But if he has, they don't know. They've never seen him again. So anyway, Anna, it happens. I know, funny, huh? Okay. Anyway, I just wanted to share that story. I thought it was very sweet, very kind. Alrighty, so just a couple of things. A quote this week that I came across that I loved so much I had to turn into a postcard, by Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. People are like stained glass windows. They sparkle and shine when the sun is out, but when the darkness sets in, their true beauty is revealed only if there is a light from within. I thought that was so beautiful and so profound and so true. In my line of work, I frequently work with people, not when the sun is out, but when darkness sets in. And I have seen an enormous amount of growth, of beauty, of wisdom, of strength in those moments. And it's always my honor to witness that and see who people really are, how people really are. Dr. Elisa says, wisdom can be frightening. You have the strength to embrace and face new knowledge. Absolutely. Alrighty. Elizabeth's cosmic strip this week. Did you see it? It says emerge. It's Angel Beth. She has a butterfly on her head. She's standing in front of an enormous moon coming up out of the water. It is so cool. Really, one of her very best ones. I absolutely loved it. And she's done some beautiful ones. Really loved this one. So thank you, Elizabeth. Alrighty. Taya wrote an absolutely beautiful article about grief and loss, and I know she's going to talk about it more on her show, or I assume she probably will. So I won't go too deeply into it, except for that. This is the second article in Luminous this week, actually, about grief. It seems like a lot of people are in a deep place of grief right now, of change, of hurt. And I just love that these guys have been so willing to share their grief and their loss, because I think we find a lot of strength in supporting each other through times like that. And so, Taya, I just want to thank you for being so open and for writing that article and for sharing it with us. You know it's going to help somebody, and I hope it helped you. But on top of that, of course, we ran one more week. The poem about grief that Jennifer wrote last week, that was absolutely beautiful. So I hope that you also come and find that in the Radiant Poem Project on page 23. But to wrap up Luminous this week, I want to share our Reader's Corner. This is page 24. It is a poem written by Robin S. Won't say her last name on the air because we're not supposed to. But it's in the magazine. The butterfly, so richly adorned, gave thanks for its coat of many colors, and as its wings unfurled and it took flight, gave thanks for its transformation, for it was now free to do what it was always meant to do, to fly high and touch the sky. Robin, thank you. Absolutely beautiful. I loved having this in Luminous this week. So I really hope that you guys think about it and submit something. And Robin, thanks for being the first one. Thanks for being so brave and being so willing to play along. I'm really excited to see what else you guys have to share. So very cool. Alrighty, well, that is Luminous for the week. I'm going to jump back to the chat room here for just a minute. This is, I know, this is the mundane part of the show, but I do need to kind of have to go back and forth. Okay, I am so excited, you guys. I'm really excited for this time of year. I know you know that. I've talked about it a lot, but seriously, I'm all about it. Okay. So, where do we go from here? I guess we go straight to, I posted an infographic at the very top of the page, at the very top of the chat room. It's crystals to connect to the autumn equinox. You can also find this over on my regular Facebook page, or on my fan page at Katie Weaver. I didn't really post it. I didn't think about posting it off of Facebook, so I apologize for that. You'll have to be on Facebook to find it today. Oh, unless you go find it on Pinterest. You could go find it on Pinterest. And that is Katie Weaver, professional psychic, author, and radio personality. I know that's a mouthful. Over on Pinterest, it is posted over there. So if you're a non-Facebooker and you wanted to see the infographic, that would be the place to go find it. But I apologize for that. I should have thought earlier about putting it on my website or somewhere else where you guys could find it. But, well, I didn't. So there we are. All right. I wanted to share some crystals to connect with the other side. Well, with the autumn equinox, right? Because there's all kinds of fun stuff happening, obviously, with the equinox. And one of them is that there's a lot of magic this time of year. And because of that, there's a lot of things I want to share with you guys. And one of them is connecting, because it's just a deeper connection this time of year. And so I want to make sure that you guys get to see it. So crystals to connect to the autumn equinox. The first crystal is a Fodden quartz. And somehow I made it to you without a Fodden quartz. I apologize. I was going to show it to you, but I didn't grab one. I don't know. Anyway. But if you're looking at it, the Fodden quartz, or if you just look one up, Fodden, if it's F-A-D-E-N quartz. It's quartz that is flat, it's tabulated, and it has a line through it. That is actually a line of gas. And that gas line is super good for connecting you to something else. So Fodden quartz are great for making connections, whether we're connecting to the other side, maybe you're connecting to angels and guides, maybe you're connecting to someone who has passed. Maybe you're working on relationship stuff and connecting to another person. Anytime you're seeking a connection, consider a Fodden quartz. I'm going to tell you something about Foddens. Really clear ones, decent sized ones, are quite expensive. You could easily pay $50, $60, even $100 for a really nice one. I highly recommend it. If you want to gift yourself something wonderful, if you want to buy a new crystal, look for a good size, like a palm-sized Fodden that is ice clear. They don't have to be icy clear to do their job, obviously, but they're pretty cool because then you get the whole effect of that gas line within. They really are clear quartz. I mean, that's their actual makeup, but this is the shape of them, of course, and the gas line, which is just pretty cool. So, how would you use a Fodden quartz to connect to the other side? Well, you would hold it. You could hold it to your heart. You could hold it to your throat. If you were using this to communicate in connection, you could hold it to your third eye, perhaps, if you're using it to connect to someone else. Or you could just hold it in your hands. There's nothing wrong with that. Crystals are activated through heat or pressure, right? So you need to have it against your body, in your hand, against you in some way. The heat, the pressure of being held against your skin, against your body, that's what's going to activate the properties of that crystal. So meditate with the Fodden, right? And then ask for the connection that you're seeking. Pretty easy. As I'm talking, I'm feeling really prompted to offer a mediumship class this fall. Do you guys want that? Would you attend? Is it something that you'd be interested in? I think I would probably give you a couple of weeks to get a hold of a Fodden if you want one. I would really like to, I'd like to do that if you want it. I'm being asked to do it right now. That's what I'm being prompted to do. So let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. It would be probably like a 50-minute class over at 1-2 Academy, or maybe at 1-2 Academy, I don't know, we'll see. But I would be basically teaching you how to use that Fodden. We'd be doing some exercises and activities to connect to those who have crossed. So anyway, that would be coming towards the end of October. So let me know in the chat or drop me a line if you're interested in that, and I'll put together some kind of a plan. 'Tis the season, right? Okay. Amber is the next stone, and I did show up with an amber. Can't believe I didn't show up with a Fodden quartz. Anyway, whatever, life goes on. Okay, amber. Amber is just an itty bitty. Well, this one is. It wouldn't have to be. Amber is such a cool stone. Amber is fossilized tree resin. It feels like nothing. Amber is really, really light. Like this little piece that I'm showing you guys right now feels like nothing. They're so light because, well, it's because of their makeup, their structure. But anyway, amber is a super good stone for connecting to your ancestors. And also, you know, this time of year, it's not just connecting with angels and guides. Maybe it's not even just connecting with someone who's crossed. It's connecting to the energy or the essence of who you are, right? So use amber for that. So again, hold it in your heart, heat and pressure, but use that in some capacity to connect to your ancestors. If you're going to do an ancestors altar, which I highly recommend this time of year, it would be really smart to put some amber on it, because that helps to bring them in. It helps to strengthen your connection to them. All right, green aventurine. Green aventurine to connect to the abundance of the harvest, right? Why? Well, because this is a plentiful time. This is the last harvest. It's considered to be the end of the harvest, obviously, for most people, for most climates. But this is a very abundant time of year. It's something to tap into. If we're talking like law of attraction-ish kind of stuff, connecting to the harvest is a really good way to continue to attract abundance to yourself, because the harvest is abundant and it's easier to attract what you already have. So if you are attracting abundance through abundance you already have, or through what you're celebrating, you're more successful. But green aventurine helps you to tap into abundance in general, And of course, tap into the abundance of the harvest around you. All right, Labradorite. I make no bones about it. Labradorite is easily one of my favorite stones. You guys know it. I've talked about it lots of times. Labradorite. It's so hard in video to show you guys the flash. I think you can see it a little bit, but Labradorite has this unbelievable flash in it. And, oh, there we go. Yeah. Unbelievable flash. It's so gorgeous. So the flash is the magic in Labradorite, right? So the Inuit believe that the flash in Labradorite is bits of aurora borealis that fell from the sky. The flash is what mystics connect to, right? That's what we want to connect to in this stone. It helps you to connect to the mysticism, to the magic of this time of year. I would recommend that you get a nice piece of Labradorite that you just keep with you. This should be your daily driver, right? The one that's in your pocket or in your bra, or that you're wearing maybe in a ring or on a necklace or as a talisman or in a medicine pouch. But Labradorite really helps. And who doesn't love Labradorite? Oh, don't tell me if you don't. I want to be friends with you. Kidding, kind of. Okay. But those are 4 stones that you may consider picking up for this time of the year for this reason, right? Yeah. Anna said she had a dream last year at this time about her dead great-grandfather. She tends to get signs in dreams. Yeah. Yes. And those dreams, especially this time of year, I would take them to heart. Those are visitations. They're so amazing. Absolutely love it. Okay. So fun. All right. But there you go on that. You're welcome to take that infographic and do whatever you want with it. But that is one, those are some suggestions, my best suggestions really for crystals for this time of year. Just taking a quick peek in the chat room. Okay. So let's go ahead and get our deck out, because what I wanted to do was a little reading, like a collective reading for the equinox. I should have gotten this out. Oh, I'm upside down. That would be terrible. Okay. This deck is one of my favorites. The Raven Prophecy. I don't get it out very often, to be honest. I don't use cards that often. I use cards here more on the show than I do any other time, to be completely clear with you, but that's because we're having fun here, right? We're having fun. We're learning. We love it. And as you know, I have a deep affinity for ravens. And most of you probably know why that is. But when my mom died, we were inundated with ravens and blackbirds for years. Still are. Still are. I still have ravens around me all the time, in living capacity and also in symbolism. But it's just been her for so many years. I have an enormous raven print that hangs next to my bed that I look at every day. And it's just a very powerful totem for me. And it is. It represents my mother, and so all of her powerful attributes. And sometimes it represents her specifically. But anyway you slice it, Raven is where it's at for me. So anyway, I wanted to just do a little reading for the collective with this deck because, well, they're cool and I love them. Uh-oh, I'm pushing buttons. That's never good. Okay. Alrighty, so I'm going to pull some cards here from this deck. This is always a fun one for me because I am not I'm not a tarot reader, and I don't know the tarot. However, I do know my intuition, and I do know the hits that I get. So that's where it's at for me. Alrighty. All right, so I pulled out 3 cards, and they're going to basically be a symbol for us of the 3 months to come. So let's get to it. All right. So the first card is the King of Coins. Okay, if you can see it. It's actually a rose. That's what the card looks like. One of the few in this deck that doesn't actually have a raven on it. But so here's what I'm hearing for the first month. The first month is about potential financial changes, both for better and for worse. And that King of Coins is here to remind us that you have a choice with money. You always have a choice with money. So you may have to do some prioritizing. You may have to do some rearranging. On the flip side, you may see a good financial boon. There's a warning here. If you get a financial boon this period, that you are wise with it. It doesn't mean your money's going away. Don't go into a place of fear with me. But it does mean that you need to be wise and careful with it so that you can set yourself up for the winter. Remember that we're connecting to the abundance of the harvest. And what do we do with the harvest? We stockpile it for winter, right? So the financial boon that comes through right now should be used wisely. It should be stockpiled. That doesn't mean you can't go buy that new purse, right? That doesn't mean you can't do some things for yourself. But it does mean don't blow through it. Make sure that you have held on to some of it for a rainy day or for a brighter day, right? Maybe, just maybe, you'll have an opportunity in the dog days of January to take a trip or get out of the cold or do something that you want to do. Just protect your abundance, protect your harvest. Hang on to some of it. That's what comes up. On the flip side of that, of course, is if it is not a boon for you, if it is a challenge for you financially, hunker down, keep your head down, do your work, prioritize with your money, and know that it's going to be okay. This is not a good time to panic. This isn't a good time to do anything drastic, right? Just because you've got a big bill looming doesn't mean you need to go sell your car and call Uber. Don't do something really dramatic. Just slow and steady. Face the financial stuff head on. Don't ignore it. Don't pretend like it's not happening. But it's going to be okay. It's just going to take a little bit of work on your part and a little bit of patience and some humility. But either way, some financial changes are in the works, it looks like, for a lot of us. All right, moving into the second month of the harvest, or the second month of the equinox. It is the Page of Swords. This is a feather coming up. So we're talking about like October to November-ish, right in that period, okay? No, sorry, end of October. This is really November, basically, the end of October to the end of November. Let me make that more clear. So what does this mean? Well, for me, two things come up. One, those feathers. Those are always symbols, right? Feathers come up, those are symbols, those are signs. Those are symbols and signs from the universe in one way or another. I really feel like this is a time when you really need to keep present and keep your eyes open. I'm hearing that in that period, from the end of October into the end of November, that your intuition is going to be off the charts and that you really need to pay attention and listen. I hope that I can encourage you to keep some kind of a dream journal during this time. I hope that I can encourage you to pay attention to a psychic journal as well and write down any kind of hits that you get, any kind of intuition that comes through. That's a really good way to practice. I want to tell you that I feel like this is a period where you're going to be unsettled a little bit. It's not all butterflies and roses this time. Is it ever, really? But you're going to have some hits. You're going to have some energy that makes you uncomfortable about people around you, about the world around you. And you're going to have to learn what to do with that. And we might have to talk about this more. Maybe we should do a show on this. Or if you want to come and talk to me about it, we can. Here's where it happens. It happens like this. Not always, but sometimes, a lot of times. You wake up and you feel like something's wrong. You don't know what. You might frantically feel like something's wrong, or just kind of intensely. Something doesn't feel right. You might check in with family members, with friends, with your kids, with your pets. You take a look around. Everything seems to be okay. Everyone's all right. What the hell, right? Okay. That is typically you feeling something collective. Maybe you're feeling something that's happened completely to somebody else. Maybe you're feeling something that hasn't happened yet. Or maybe you're just feeling a very unsettled collective energy. It's something that sometimes, as psychics and intuitives, we have to sort through. The real question to ask isn't necessarily what is happening, it's do I need to do anything? Because ultimately, sometimes you're going to feel stuff like that you can't do anything about. You can't, technically, right? Maybe you can't stop that thing from happening, but you can do your work. You can pray, you can send love from your heart, you can visualize, you can drum, you can chant, you can sing, you can do whatever you do, you can light a candle, you can do whatever you do, right? That's what you can do. But when you have those unsettled feelings, those unsettled psychic intuitive feelings, you have to sort through them and figure out exactly, or at least what you need to do about it. If there's nothing for you to do, and to be honest, you guys, that is frequently the answer. There's nothing for you to do. You're just feeling it. If that's the case, you have to let it go. Go wash your hands. Wash your hands. Wash them well. Use soap and water. While you wash your hands, allow that energy to wash down the sink. It's not yours. You don't need it. You're sending your love, your prayers, your best energy and intentions to it. That's all you can do. You don't have to carry it all day long. Because you know, if you've done this before, and I think a lot of you have, and what I'm saying resonates with you, you know how that feels in your belly, and it sucks, right? Don't carry it. You don't have to. If you still can't get rid of it, well, let's talk. Maybe I can help. Sometimes some energy work really helps, or just a little extra affirmation or understanding, but those are things that they happen. But that's how that 4 weeks feels to me, kind of uncomfortable. Not always. It's not going to just be hell. I'm not saying that at all, but psychically a little uncomfortable. So we'll work on it. We will. All right. The last card is the 9 of Swords. So we were just in the Page of Swords. See, it's another psychic card. What do we have here? It's a hand connecting to a skeleton hand. This is another psychic card indicating connections, right? More psychic energy. This to me is connecting to the other side and also connecting to ancestors. I suspect that many of you during that last quarter or that last period of the fall equinox are going to feel extremely connected to your ancestors and to those that have passed. Again, we can work on it more. We can have a class if you guys want one. We can keep working on that together, but that's what really comes up for me. That may bring some grief with it. Sometimes it does, right? And what do we do with it? Well, I've talked lots of times about putting up an ancestor altar. I feel very strongly about that. I think this is the good time of year to really celebrate people who have crossed that you love, to really tell their stories, to talk about them, to cook their food, right? To put their picture up, to do things that celebrate them and keep them alive. That is something you can do. And sometimes that is the balm on your grief that helps the very most. If it hurts, let it hurt. If it makes you cry, then cry, right? Then laugh. And laugh about their lives and their stories and their situations and things they said or did that still crack you up. Those are the moments that you are the most deeply connected to them. Grief is heavy and it's hard for spirits to get through. It's very thick. It sucks. And that's okay. You're going to have grief and there's nothing wrong with that. But when you're lighter, when you are in a higher frequency, you'll connect to them easier. Seems kind of unfair, doesn't it? But it's what I know. All right. So that's the part of that reading. I'm not going to give you a crystal because I already did. We already shared all of those crystals. But I do want to share with you a candle magic ritual. So I'm thinking about I think I'm going to teach you how to do one for that second quarter, right? For the Page of Swords, for the time that we're quite psychically uncomfortable. So you want to get your candle. These are chime candles. You can get them at any metaphysical store. You can order them on Amazon. If I were you, and this is what I have a collection of a lot of different colors. If I were you, I would order a set on Amazon or buy a set from a local store that has lots of different colors and just put them away so that you have them. Buy 2 or 3 different little holders so that you have them, because little chime candle holders are specifically sized. So we're just going to do a little candle magic ritual here for that discomfort. So if I was going to do that, I would actually use a black candle. I have a white one in my hand, so that's what I'm showing you. But I would use a black candle for this. Black candles are marvelous, marvelous for candle magic. And I know some people feel weird about using black because somehow we've been taught that it's like bad or something. Bullshit. It is not bad. It serves a purpose. Black candles absorb and transmute heavy energy into light. Hear it again. Black candles absorb and transmute heavier energy into light. Perfect. So we take our black candle, right? You're going to hold it in your heart. Start thinking about your process. What do you want it to do? Let's imagine that what you would like it to do is go ahead and get rid of this uncomfortable energy you're carrying, right? Okay. So I would probably hold it in my heart and I'm going to focus on that uncomfortable energy. And then I'm going to speak into my candle. This is powerful work. I'm going to put my candle right to my lips. And perhaps I'd say something like, with this candle, with the lighting and the burning, I transmute all heavier, unnecessary, and uncomfortable psychic energy around me, right? Maybe you'll say something kind of different. It doesn't matter, right? There's no right or wrong way to do a little candle spell. You say what you need to say, but say it into your candle. Speak it right into your candle. Then you're going to anoint it with 1 drop of an essential oil. I would probably use nutmeg, just because this time of year is so psychic, and nutmeg is a psychic oil. You could use cilantro oil too if you have it. Some people are very opposed to cilantro oil, but whatever. You could also use frankincense or lavender or olive oil if that's what you have. Just get 1 drop of oil on your fingers, start at the bottom, work all the way up to the wick. Then you're going to light that candle and let it burn all the way down. And knowing that it is doing its work and it is completely releasing anything that you're carrying that you don't want anymore. And with the last puff of smoke, as it goes out, you'll let it burn, clear till it's gone. It carries the very last of your prayers away and it does the last of its work. So easy enough, right? So that is the collective autumn equinox reading. Now, again, if you want your own, if you want me to make a video for you and do a video reading of this work, I would gladly do that for you. And all you have to do is go and purchase it as an email reading over at one2listen.com under me, Katie Weaver, in my email readings. And here in the next few days, I will do that reading for you and send it over. So it's a fun one. It's a nice one to get to kind of reflect back on. I feel like this equinox period is going to be fairly heavy. I don't mean that in a negative way so much, just let's say deep, not heavy, deep, right? Very good. Okay. Alrighty. Last thing I wanted to share quickly, and I shared these last week, but I'm going to share them one more time. I do have in my t-shirt collections, in my Joyful Goddess store, I do have a set of witchy t-shirts that I'm loving. I just made myself another one. It says, "Witch, please." Hilarious. I love it. Anyway, I shared a link in the chat room, but you can find that over at katie-weaver.com in my in the Joyful Goddess online store too. But those are all my witchy t-shirts. I absolutely love them. I've been wearing mine around town and getting a ton of compliments on them. They're so cute and fun. You know, and like I said last week, Scott couldn't figure out why I needed so many t-shirts because he thought I was just going to wear them, till Halloween. Hell no. I'm going to wear them year round. I'm loving it. Alrighty, guys. We've done it. We've talked down to the end of the show. Again, don't forget to join us on Thursday for the very last Psychic Sisters. I will be over at 1-2 Listen for the rest of the day and evening. If you need anything, come see me. Take care. You've been listening to The Katie Weaver Show here on 1-2 Radio, where we're changing the way you listen to the world.